The most extreme and tiniest machines in the world demonstrate innovation and the progression of technology. So stay tuned and let's begin the top 10 countdown. Starting at number 10, the iBox Nano. When it comes to 3D printing, the iBox Nano was one of the smallest and lightest 3D printers in the world. But unfortunately, the developer found that it takes a lot of money to advance a product in a fast-paced tech world. So the iBox Nano was a really good idea, but it's now a dead product which was tied to resolution and resin quality issues. At number 9, the Piccolo CNC machine. The miniature Piccolo is an open source CNC which anyone can build. So far the machine has a drawing attachment, but theoretically it can hold other tools such as lasers. So it's a really crafty machine and it's great for making cards and drawing things autonomously. Now, I personally cannot even install a dryer, so this probably wouldn't be a good project for me, but if you are really good at building things, you can follow the step-by-step assembly guide on the developer's website. At number 8, this miniature pinball machine. Now, brushing technicality aside, this pinball machine is one of the smallest contraptions out there, and it's homemade. The steampunk creation uses a Bluetooth keyboard and an iPod Touch, so even though it does not have a real pinball inside, it's still a really cool device which I could probably spend the rest of my life on and I would still be happy. The same creators also built a mini arcade, a cocktail arcade, and a tablet game controller, so he definitely deserves an award for building really cool stuff. At number 7, the smallest drill. Ants finally have a drill which they can use to build things and take over the human race. This 3D printed drill is only 7mm across and was created by Lance Abernethy. The drill is composed of a hearing aid battery for power and a stripped out headphone cable for wiring. The rest was 3D printed into a tiny thin shell and was assembled in under 3 hours, which is not really bad for setting a world record. So it's quite obvious that Lance has a knack for these types of things, which also leads us into the next position. At number 6, this really tiny circular saw. Ants now have a saw thanks to the same creator of the world's smallest drill. The saw is printed into 4 pieces, including 2 halves for the main housing, a saw guard, and a blade holder, so it's pretty much like a real saw. This means that you can now have full protection before cutting into your next project, which will probably just be thin paper, but either way, it's still really cool. This saw is yet another epic creation by Lance, and I'm quite sure that he'll build more things for his miniature army in the future. We finally reached number 5, and it's also one of my favorites, the Piccolissimo. There has been a lot of debate on what is the smallest flying machine out there, but the Piccolissimo retains that title for now. The Pico is about the size of a quarter, and it uses one pulsing motor, which is offset from its center, and it allows the vehicle to steer in any direction. It also has its own power supply, so in my opinion this is actually more impressive than the Robobee by Harvard University. But I think new battery technology and wireless power are just going to keep making drones smaller and smaller. I just hope that we don't make robotic mosquitoes or anything like that. At number 4, the robotic stingray. Now we are finally getting into the weird stuff. I've covered this thing before and nobody really understood what I was talking about, which also included me, by the way. But this particular stingray is a part animal, part machine, and it's one of the most advanced bioengineered creations ever made. It's composed of rat heart cells, silicon, and a gold skeleton. But it's a really bizarre machine and it moves by responding to pulses of light. So the rat cells move the fins, essentially moving the hybrid machine forward. So what exactly is this thing? Is it alive or is it a machine? Either way, the future holds many strange secrets waiting to be told. At number 3, micro origami bots. Researchers at Duke University have come up with a clever way to trap individual cells with micro robots. The bots can change shape when it's triggered by a magnetic field, but the cubes can also be assembled in different ways and enclosed in different ways. Ultimately, the micro-robots are dictated by the sequence of the cube, and it's pre-programmed, so it's not adaptive to its environment. But like many micro-robots, the team will work on giving the cubes self-propulsion instead of relying on outside magnetic triggers. At number 2, the nanomotor. The nanomotor is one of the most impressive micro-machines in existence so far. It is 500 times smaller than a grain of sand, and it can fit inside a human cell. It can run for 15 hours and at a mind-blowing speed of 18,000 RPM. Researchers used AC and DC electric fields to assemble the motor, and the nanomotor converts outside electrical energy into mechanical motion. So right now it does not have its own power supply, just yet. But my guess is that wireless power will make these motors have practical applications in drug delivery, or possibly even leading to a more complex nano machine. The challenge lies in mass producing these machines, and that answer might be solved by 3D printing. We'll just have to wait and see. At the great number 1, the molecular car. The world's smallest car is so small, you'll actually need a one-of-a-kind tunneling microscope in order to see it. These nanocars are powered by electric pulses through a 100 nanometer racetrack. These nanocars also require liquid helium to set the environment to minus 516 degrees Fahrenheit. Otherwise, the molecules would just move chaotically, without cohesion, and the cars would fall apart. But aside from the very strict building requirements, these cars are built to an atomic scale, which is also the building blocks of life. So it's only a matter of time till we see more advanced machines which resemble perfection and the ultimate goal of engineering. So once again, thanks for watching. Please like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel.